Hello, today we will be going to discuss about the design aspects of the tension member. In last lectures we have discussed details of the net sectional areas which are going to carry the tensile forces. In last lecture we have focused that how to find out the net area for different orientation of the members. The members are connected in different way with the riveted connections, with welded connections, one leg connected, two legs back to back connected. So, for different cases we have seen how to find out the strength of that particular member from tensile point of view. Today we will do just reverse one, that means first we will assume some appropriate section, then that section, with that section whether the given load is means able to take that section or not, that we will see. That means first we will find out an approximate section, then with that section we will see whether the applied load is being able to carried by that section or not. If not, then we will increase the section, if yes, then fine. Like this we will go, and we have some basis of considering that approximate area. All this basis we will going to discuss. Other thing is that we will just discuss through some steps through which systematically we will be able to design a tension member. Now, say first design means we will discuss only about the axial tension, not the bending. So, tension member means the tension member may have axial tension as well as also bending, but right now we will be focusing our discussions only on axial tension. So, first steps what we will do, that step 1, that first we know the axial tension and permissible value of the stress for that particular grade of steel which we are going to use. So, from that we can find out the required net cross sectional area. So, net means this is required net cross sectional area can be find out from this formula, that P by sigma AT. So, this is the first steps we have to do. Then what we will do in steps 2, that we will choose a suitable section with an allowance of rivet diameter. That means we have the net area, now we will choose a suitable section, but we know some allowance has to given because of net area and gross area is different. So, we have to increase little more, and the following guideline may be useful for choosing the section. So, for choosing the section we will have some guideline. What is that? That for single angle we can use gross area as 1.2 to 1.4 of net area. That means if we are going to use the single angle, then the gross area can be increased 20% to 40% of the net area. If we are going to use double angle, then we can use 35% extra of the net area. So, this is the guidelines which we can follow, but this is not strict. We can change and we can see whether it is okay or not. So, basis on that we can make, but at the preliminary stages we can start with this. Now, for angles on same side, means this is net area means for double angle, for angles on same side of the gusset plate, and if angles on either side of the gusset plate, then 25% of net area can be taken as additional to that. That means for double angle, one is this, another is this. If angles are on same side of the gusset plate, then we can take 1.35 into n, and if angles are on either side of the gusset plate, then we can take 1.25 into net area. This is how we can start. Next, the step 3 is that find the net area available in the selected section by making deduction for rivet holes. That means we know the rivets are there, so deduction due to rivet hole has to be made. So, the following deductions may be done at this preliminary stage. So, some guidelines should be we have. So, these are the guidelines through which we can deduct at the preliminary stage. However, we have to remember that after doing all the things, we have to recheck all the details, because how many numbers we are going to provide the rivet, what are the exact situations we are facing. On that basis, we again have to recheck all the things to ensure that the designed member is capable of taking that much load. So, for single or double angle pair, we can make one rivet hole from each angle. If the single or double angle pair is there, then one rivet hole from each angle we can reduce. In case of 4 angles forming box, that means 4 angles means like this, one angle and forming box. So, in this way if it is, then 2 rivet holes from each angle, 2 rivet holes from each angle we can reduce. Plates and flats we can make one rivet hole from 15 centimeter width. So, if it is 30 centimeter width, 2 angle, means 15 to 30 centimeter width if it is, then we can make 2 angle, 30 to say 40 or 45, 3 angle, like this, 3 rivets. So, like this we can make. These are some guideline, but we do not know how much it will be finally. Again, double channel. In case of double channel, one rivet hole from each flange or 2 rivet holes from each web. So, these are the deduction of hole at this preliminary stage can be made. 2 rivet holes from each channel web or 1 rivet hole from each flange. For the double channel we can make. Now, step 4. Now, the trial section will be suitable in case what we will do? The trial section will be suitable if the available area after deduction of holes is greater than or equal to the net area required. That means, we know the what is the available area after this deductions and we have the net area. Now, if the available area is more than the net area, then we can go further, otherwise we have to increase the section, otherwise a higher section has to be chosen and has to repeat step 3 till the suitable section is obtained. So, still now what we have done, that net area required we have. Now, with an increased area we consider some sectional property, means section. With that section again we have deducted the whole etc. Then we have seen what is the available area we are getting. Now, this available area if it is less than the required net area, then we have to increase the section, otherwise we can continue with that. Now, in step 5 what we will do? Check the slenderness ratio if reversal loading is occurred as per IS 800/1984 in clause 3.7. In clause 3.7 of IS 800 has given that slenderness ratio has to be less than 180 if the load is other than wind and earthquake. If other than wind and earthquake, then L by R should be less than or equal to 180, and if load is due to wind or earthquake, then the slenderness ratio should be checked from this, that is L by R should be less than or equal to 350. So, as per the clause 3.7, this codal provision has to be checked. So, where do we get the R? R value we will get from the either from calculation or from the code, that handbook, because if single angle is there, if single means single angle or I section or T section or channel section is there, then its all the properties has been given in the SP6 handbook. But if we provide the built up section, then we have to calculate the R, radius of gyration, then we have to find out the L by R ratio and we have to check whether this is following this codal provision or not. If it is not following, then we have to increase the section again. So, the section whatever is required we have found. Now, what we will do? Now, we will go for the end connection. That means, connections we have to do through which the load will be passed from one member to another member. So, number of rivets can be calculated from this formula easily, that N is equal to P by R. As this is a direct tension, so simply number of rivets will be equal to P by R, where P is the axial tensile which has been provided and R is the rivet value that can be calculated from the particular diameter of the rivet and type of rivet. So, the number of rivets can be found out. So, the rivets in angle should be located on gauge line. So, that was also given in the code in SP6 1964, it has been given the gauge line. That means, what are the gauge line, what are the edge distance, all the details has been given in the code, and as per that we have to follow. So what we have done here, the number of rivets once we found, as per the codal provision we can find out the gauge line and we can make accordingly. And then what we have to do, we have to recheck once again, that because how many number we are providing, depending on that we have to see whether the net area is available or not, means what are the new area we are going to get, actual area, which should be means less than the net area required, sorry, which should be more than the net area required, which has been calculated at this step 1. So from this we have to find out. Now if the end connection is made by fillet weld, then weld should be arranged in such that there is no eccentricity between CG of weld and that of member. It is very important. In case of welding member, we have to ensure that the CG of weld and CG of the force, means force of acting, should match, otherwise eccentricity will occur, and because of that eccentricity the joint will again come into picture due to the moment, which has to again redesign. So in case of weld design we have to ensure that the CG of weld and line of action of force should coincide. So as per the codal provision which has been given in the table 31 of SP61, that the rivet gauge distance in leg of angles. So for different size of leg, say 200, the double row of rivets A and B has been given. One is 75 and there is 85, and in case of single row rivets this is 115, and maximum rivet size of double row rivets will be 27. So these are the provision which has been given in the code, which has to be maintained while designing the member. Similarly, for leg size of 150, the double row of rivets A and B, this gauge line will be 55 and 65, and if it is single row of rivets then it should be at 90 mm, and the maximum size of double row of rivets will be 22. Similarly, for 130, for 125, 115, 110, 100. So all these details has been given in the code, right. So similarly again we see for different angles, after means below 100 mm leg size we are not going to provide double row, in that case we are going to provide only single row. So the gauge line will be here and there will be no double rivet, that is why there nothing has been provided. So in this way up to 20 it has been given. So with all these basis we have to design a member. Now before going to an example of design of tension member, I will go through another example through which the strength of the member will be calculated. So this is the question. Basically this is one sort of design also, you can say that an angle section of ISA 150 by 115 is connected to the gusset plate through the longer legs by 20 mm diameter of power driven sub rivets as shown below. Find a suitable section, find a suitable thickness for the section if it has to carry a tensile force of 300 kilonewton. Now how it has been made, let us see. If we see in the plan, it is like this. These are the rivet line. One rivet is here and here, like this. So this is 60 and this is the longer leg, so 150 mm, and these are given, these are all pitch distances 60, all 60, right. Now if I see from elevation, this will be like this. This is the gusset plate. So this is the angle, and this angle are connected through two rivets like this, and these rivets are 20 mm diameter of power driven, so PDS, power driven sub rivet, and this distance are 60, right. Now we have to find out the thickness of the rivet. So what we will do, first we have to find out the gross diameter. Now this length is 115 and this is 150. We have to find out the thickness of the plate, which is unknown, right. Now what we will do, first we have to find out the gross diameter of the hole, means gross diameter of rivet hole, that is 20 plus 1.5, 21.5, right. Now deduction in width of hole along section 1, 2, 3, means if we see, it may fail like this, say 1, 2, 3, this is one way it may fail, another is 4, 5, this may fail 1, 2, 4, 5. So there are two way of failure which has to be calculated, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4. So deduction in width, not in area, because area we do not know because of unknown thickness. So deduction in width for hole along section 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3 will be, so along 1, 2, 3, this will be deduction of hole, that will be 1 into 21.5. So this is 21.5 millimeter, because only one rivet is there along 1, 2, 3. Similarly, deduction along 1, 2, 4, 5, that means this one 1, 2, 4, 5. So on this deduction will be how much? That will be 2 rivets are there, so 2 into 21.5, but a square by 4g, because of zigzag nature we have to make. So a square s is 60, 4g, g is also 60. So this value is 60 and this is also 60. So a square by 4g will be this. So this will become 28 mm, right. So deduction in width for hole along 1, 2, 4, 5 is 28 mm and along 1, 2, 3 is 21.5 mm. So thus maximum deduction will be 28 mm, 28 mm, which is, so this is the weakest section, means 1, 2, 4, 5 will be the weaker one. So now we have to find out the area. So net area of connected leg, this will be how much? Net area of connected leg, that is 150 minus 28 minus t by 2 into t. This will be net area of connected leg. And similarly, net area of outstanding leg, means area of outstanding leg will be 115 minus t by 2 into t, where t is nothing but thickness of angle. So, which we have to find out. So, we have now net area means A2 we have and A1 we have. So, now let us assume, because now we will see that this is coming quadratic, means unknown, t square by 2 will come. So, to make it simplify, let assume t as say 10 mm. Then what will happen? Then A1 we have calculated as A1 was 150 minus 28 minus t by 2 into t. So, this t actually, if we assume 10, then it will not change much, because the reduction will not be much. If we make 10 or 8 or 12, it is the reduction is not going to affect much. That is why we are assuming for the sake of simplicity. So, that we can make t into 150 minus 28 minus 10 by 2. So, in this way I can find out say 117 t. Similarly, A2 we can make t into 115 minus t by 2 means 10 by 2. So, 110 t. This is millimeter square. Okay. Now we can find out K1. So, K1 will be 3A1 by 3A1 plus A2. So, 3 into A1 means 1170 by 3 into 1170 plus A2 means 110 t. So, from this we are going to get 0.761. Okay. So, the coefficient K1 is coming 0.761. Now, what we will do? Now, area net we will find out. Net area will be A1 plus K1 A2. So, A1 is 170 plus K1 is 0.761 into 110 t. So, this will become 200.71 t. So, millimeter square. So, net area of the section is coming 200.71 t. Now, permissible load will be how much? On this basis, permissible load should be 150 into 200.71 t. This is dividing by 1000 because of making change from Newton to kilonewton. So, this will come 30.1065 t kilonewton. So, permissible load is this one. Now, 200 kilonewton load has to carry. So, permissible load has to be maximum 200, means 200 load has to be carry. So, we can make equal of 30.1065 t is equal to 200, right. So, from this I can find out t as 9.96 millimeter. So, we are going to find out t as 9.96 millimeter. That means we can use 10 millimeter, right. So, hence we can use 10 millimeter thickness. That means the section, what will be section? So, use section as say ISA 150 by 115 by 10, and its weight also was given in the code, which can be find out for 10 mm thickness. This is 20 kg per meter. Okay. So, the answer will be this 150 by 115 by 10 at rate of 20 kg per meter. In this way we can make it. So, this example I have gone through because to see how to find out the thickness of the angle section. If everything is given, then how to find out the thickness. Section is given, we know how much load has to carry. So, what should be the thickness of the angle? So, that thickness, suitable thickness of the angle can be find out through this type of process. So, now I will go through one design example, which I have discussed earlier, the different steps how to design an angle. First I will go through one unequal single angle section. Say a tie member of 2 meter long carries an axial tension of 175 kilonewton, right. So, axial tension is 175 kilonewton. Now, design a suitable single unequal section when connection is made with 20 mm diameter of power driven shop rivets and fillet weld. So, we will design through fillet weld, we will design through riveting 20 mm diameter of power driven shop rivet. So, load is given here 175 kilonewton. So, this much load has to be carried by the angle, and section has been told that this is single unequal section. And another thing is length is 2 meter. Why it is required? Because we have to find out the L by R ratio, which should be less than or equal to 350 or 200 as per the codal provision, right. So, let us see how to go through the step by step to find out the design section. So, now we know the P is given, which is 175 kilonewton. Effective length, this is given. These are the two things which has been given. And now the type of steel you have to assume, because it is not told. So, if we assume the allowable tensile stress as this, if we assume the mild steel, then the allowable tensile stress will be 0.6 into Fy, Fy will be 250. So, allowable tensile stress is 150 MPa, and we know as per the codal provision that this will be less, means 144 if the thickness is becoming more than 20 mm, right. So, let us assume that thickness is not going to become more than 20 mm, which generally does not become. So, we are taking the sigma at value as 150. Okay. Now, as we have discussed, what is the steps 1? In step 1, first we will find out the required net area. Net area required will be P by sigma At, where P is the force applied and sigma At is the allowable tensile stress on the member. So, load is 175 kilonewton, we are making it Newton, and this is 150 Newton per millimeter square. So, net area required is 1166.7 millimeter square. In next step, what we will do? We have to increase the area for finding out the gross area, and let say increase 40%. Okay. So, gross area we can find out from this 1.4 into 1166.7. So, the gross area we are going to get as 1633 millimeter square. Now, let us choose some angle, because how do we choose? Because we need this 1633 millimeter square. Now, we will go to the SP16 of 1964. We will see which section is matching towards this section. Okay. It is told that ISA and unequal. So, in ISA unequal table, that we will go through that table and we will see which one is the closest to 66.33 millimeter square. That we have seen that if we choose 100 by 75 by 10, then it is coming 1650 millimeter square, right. It should be, means available area should be more than this preferably. Okay. So, 1650 millimeter square available area will be if we choose ISA 100 by 75 by 10 angle section. Okay. So, in this way you can find out. Next, what we will do? Now, we will find out as per the codal provision net area. What will be net area as per the clause of IS 800? The net area will be A1 plus K2 into, sorry, K1 into A2. Now, A1 is the connected area of the connected leg. So, A1 will be how much? 100, because this is the connected leg, this is 100, this is 100 and this is becoming 75, right. So, and 75 and 10, this is thickness is 10, right. So this will be A1 and this will be A2. So A1 and A2 we have to find out now, right. So A1 is the area of connected leg, which will be, we are assuming that one rivet is going to be used. So 100 minus 21.5 and minus this because of this corner one, this common one. So half into T. So A1 we are going to get 735 millimeter square. Similarly A2 is nothing but the area of unconnected leg. Area of unconnected leg will be simply 75 minus half of 10 into 10. So this will be 700 millimeters. Now I can find out K1. K1 is equal to 3A1 by 3A1 plus A2. So I can find out the value as 0.759 K1. Now what we will do? Net area can be find out. A1 plus K1 A2. From this formula I can find out. Now all the values are derived, so we can find out the value net area as 1266 mm square, where A1 is 735 millimeter square, A2 is 700 millimeter square and K1 is 0.759, right. So net area we are going to get 1266 millimeter square. So 1266 millimeter square, and we need required as 1166.7 millimeter square. Net area is required 1166.7 millimeter square, and available net area we are going to get 1266, which is greater than the net area required. So we can go with this section, right. Load carrying capacity also we can find out. Load carrying capacity will be 1266, the area, net area available into 150. So this is coming 189.9, which is greater than 175 kilonewton. The load acting is 175 kilonewton and the member can carry the load as 189.9 kilonewton. So which is greater than the 175, that means this is safe. It's okay. If this is coming less than the 175, then we have to increase the next section. We have to increase. For next section we have to check again same thing. Okay. Now what we'll do? So this check is okay. Now we have to check the slenderness ratio. Now from SP6 1964 we will get all the member properties, sectional properties of the angle. So from that we can find out the angle of whatever we have considered this angle, that is ISA 100 by 75 by 10. For this angle R minimum is 15.8 mm, which has been given in the handbook. So lambda, maximum lambda will become L effective by R minimum, which is becoming this. Effective length of the member is 2 and minimum radius of gyration is 15.8. So we are getting 126.6, which is less than 350 as per the Cloder provision. That means this is also okay. From slenderness point of view, this is also okay. Now what we will do? Next step is end connection, design for end connection. So we are using 20 mm diameter of power driven shop rivet. So what we will do? So nominal diameter will be 20 and gross diameter will be 20 plus 1.5, that is 21.5, and as per table 8.1 for power driven shop rivet, tau VF is this and bearing strength sigma PF will be 300 MPa and tau VF will be 100 MPa. Now we have to find out the rivet value. How do we find out rivet value? We know rivet value for shearing will be tau VF into pi by 4 d square. So pi by 4 into tau VF is 100 and d is 21.5. So after multiplication we are going to get 36.3 kilonewton. And from bearing strength of rivet, means from bearing point of view, it will be d into t into sigma PF. So d is gross diameter of the rivet, that is 21.5, thickness is 10 and sigma pf, the bearing strength is 300 MPa. So after making this, we are going to get 64.5 kilonewton. So rebate value in shearing, this is 36.3 kilonewton, rebate value in bearing, this is 64.5 kilonewton. So the minimum one has to be taken. So the rebate value will be 36.3 kilonewton, because failure will happen due to shearing first. Okay. So rebate value can be found as 36.3 kilonewton. Next, what we will do? Now number of rivets required. So number of rivets will be load by rebate value. Load is given as 175 kilonewton and rebate value is 36.3 kilonewton. So number of rivets required will be 4.8, that means 5. So 5 number of rivets can be used for this, right. Now pitch from the Codal provision we know minimum pitch will be 2.5 into D, that is around 50 mm. So we can make 50 mm and edge distance, so let us consider 35 mm, right. So with this we can arrange the riveting like this. Say this will be 35, edge distance will be 35 and pitch distance will be 50 each, and 5 rivets will be there. So 5 rivets of 20 mm diameter, power driven sub rivets will be used, and we can find out accordingly all the details. So in this way we can design a member and we can make its connections also. So this is the way we can make. This is the simplest design we have gone through. Next we will go one by one, complicated one. Okay, now we will go for welded joint. So same problem we will go through welding joint. So in case of welded joint, again we will see how to find out. First what we will do, that net area we have to find out, P by sigma AT, which is 1166.7 millimeter square. Now gross area for welding joint, because gross area will not be much, because in case of welding joint there is no scope of deduction of hole. So net area and gross area will be almost nearby. So gross area, code has suggested, means from experience also it has seen that 10% if we increase sufficient. So gross area we are increasing 10%. So this one 1283, right. Now choosing 90 by 60 by 10, the area is becoming 1401 millimeter. As I told that from SP6 1 in 1964, this from this handbook we can find out the sectional properties. Now gross area required is this much, 1283. Now we have to see which one is nearby. So you have seen that this will be nearer to this area. So we can choose with this 1401 millimeter square. That means the section is 90 into 60 into 10. So with this, now we have to find out as per clause of IS 800 that A net is equal to A1 plus K1 into A2. Okay. So since in case of welding joint there is no deduction for hole, so A1 will become simply the area of the connected leg and A2 will be simply area of the unconnected leg. Okay. So A1 and A2 simply can be find out from this, because this is 90, the longer leg which is connected 90 minus thickness by 2, 10 by 2 into thickness, this is the area 850 mm square. Similarly A2 is the area of unconnected leg, that means area of the smaller leg, that is 550. So from this I can find out K1 is equal to, as we know, 3A1 by 3A1 plus A2. So providing the value of A1 and A2, we can find out the magnitude of K1 as 0.823. Now area net area will be becoming A1 plus K1 into A2. So A1 is 850, K1 is 0.823, A2 is 550. So after calculating this, we are going to get 1302.65, which is greater than the required area. Required area was 1166.7 millimeter square. So it is okay. We are getting the net area as 1302.65, whereas the required area is, from the load point of view, it is 1166.7 millimeter square. So it is okay. Now what we will do? Now we will find out load capacity. Load capacity, we know the area which is 1302.65 and permissible stress in the steel. So after multiplying, we are going to get 195.4 kilonewton, which is greater than 175 kilonewton. So this is okay. That means load carrying capacity also we are going to find out, that is 195 kilonewton. So considering this section, we will be able to carry, the section will be able to carry 195.4 kilonewton load. Now again the slenderness ratio has to be checked. So for that section, from the SP6 we will get the minimum R is 12.7 millimeter. For a particular section, the radius of gyration, minimum, maximum, all the, along with all the member properties has been given in the code SP6. So lambda max will be L effective by R minimum. So this is becoming 157.5, which is less than 350. That means it is safe. If it is greater than 350, then we have to increase the sectional area, increase the sectional properties. That means we have to increase the section dimension to make under this condition. Now if it is okay, then we can go for the next step, that is design of end connection. So we have to connect the end. So for fillet weld, we know the minimum size of weld can be used as 3 mm, right, and maximum size for this case can be used 3/4 by T. T is the thickness of the angle, which is 10, so 7.5. So in between 3 to 7.5 mm we have to find a fillet weld size. So what we will do? Now fillet weld size 7.5 mm and fillet weld size now we are providing in between as 5 mm. So if size of fillet weld is 5 mm, then thickness, throat thickness can be find out from 0.707 or 0.7 s, that means 3.5 mm, right. Throat thickness means effective thickness basically, which is going to take care the load, that will be 0.7 into s. S is the size of weld, which is 5 in this case. So 0.7 into 5, this is becoming 3.5 millimeter, right. Now strength of the fillet weld per unit length, now we can find out as 3.5 into 108. 108 is the permissible stress in weld, fillet weld, 108 MPa, and this is 1000 we are dividing to make it kilonewton. So this is becoming 0.378 kilonewton per millimeter. So strength of the fillet weld per unit length has been found. Now what we will do? Now we can find out the length. Length of the weld required will be this one, because this is the load which is has to carry by the weld, and 0.378 kilonewton per millimeter length is the strength of the weld. So if we divide it, we are going to get 463 millimeter. So length of weld is required 463 millimeter, right. So 463 millimeter length has to be provided. Now how do we provide? Now we see when the member is here, so what we will do? First we can provide the, this is the height of, means length of the connected leg. So this is basically 90. So first we can provide this area, right. So we can make, and we do not know how much we have to provide here and how much we have to provide here. Why? Because we have to make welding distribution in such a way that the CG of this weld should coincide with the CG of, means load, that means CG of section, right. So first 90, and if this is x1 and if this is x2, then 90 plus x1 plus x2 will become 463 mm, right, where x1 is the length of weld of upper part and x2 is the length of weld of lower part. So from this we can make x1 plus x2 will become, from this x1 plus x2 will become 463 minus 90 is equal to 373. Now as I have told that why this x1 and x2 will not become same, because x1 and x2 has to be made in such a way that the CG of the weld has to pass through the CG of the section, right. So that is why we have to make in that way. Suppose CG of the section is here, so CG of this section we know, then we have to find out accordingly. So distribution has to be made accordingly. So what we will do, taking moment about the CG of weld x2. So moment about CG of weld of x2, if we take moment about this, what will happen? That means 90 into 0.378 into 90 by 2. This is 1. This is 90. 90 into 0.378 is the strength per millimeter length of weld. So 90 into 0.378 is the strength of this area. Then into 90 by 2 means half of this, where the CG is acting. So 90 into 0.378 into 90 by 2 plus similarly x1 into 0.378 into 90, because at 90 mm distance from here it is the x1 is there, right. So into 9 is equal to the total load is 175, and this is at a distance of 30.4 millimeter. This is given in the code. This distance is 30.4 millimeter, because this is the CG of the section. So the weld, CG of the weld should pass through the CG of the section. That is why we are making this equal to 175 into 30.4. So from this I can find out x1 as 111.4 millimeter, right. So similarly x2 I can find out then, because x1 plus x2 was 373, so x2 will become 373 minus 111.4 is equal to 261.6 millimeter. So the distribution now we can find out. So the design will be like this, that this is 261.6 millimeter, this is 111.4 millimeter, and this is 90, right. So the welding, if we distribute in this way, then the CG of the weld and CG of the section will coincide each other. So there will be no scope of eccentricity. So in this way we can make design. Now we will go through another example through which we will be able to find out the design of a T section. So now we have to design a T section which we have to carry 175 kilonewton axial tension. So in this case what we will do? So if we go to the solution, first what we will do, that first required area net area required will be 175 by the sigma 80 is 150, which will become 1166.7 as we have done earlier. So gross area, how do we find out gross area? Gross area will be around 40% more, that means 1.4 into 1166.7, that is coming 1633 millimeter square, right. So this is the gross area which is required to provide. Now we will see the handbook, that is SP 6/1/1964, that which has the matching with the required area. Now if we use ISHT, this T section 75, then the area is coming around 1949, which is closer to that. So we will use ISHT 75, and also let us use, because it is not told anything, say 20 mm power driven shop rivet, right. So we can find out now in next step we can find out the net area net, which is basically A1 plus K1 into A2. So we can find out the net area now. So A1 we can find out. Okay, now let us draw the things, then will be easier. Say this T sections is single T, so it is connected like this. This is the gusset plate and this is one rivet, because two rivet has to be provided in the flange. Okay, so if we see, so gusset plate is like this. So this will be two rivets. If it is chain riveting, then it will look like this. This is this. Okay, so and this distance will be find out. Now let's assume this as say 50 and 40, say 40 edge distance and 50 pitch distance, right. So this is 40, because 52.5 D 20 mm diameter has been used. So 20 into 2.5 is coming 50, and say edge distance we are providing 40. However, it can be changed also. And now this flange width is as per the codal provision. This is given for ISHT 75. This width is 150 mm, right. So now I can find out the area A1 and A2, because now the area will be in this section will be lowest. So critical section I can make in this way. So A1 I can find out 150 minus 2 into 21.5. This is the two number of rivets has been provided, and thickness has been given as 9. Thickness of flange has been given 9 for this particular ISHT section. So this is coming 963 millimeter square. Similarly, A2 is the area of the wave, that is 75 minus 9 into thickness is 8.4. See, this thickness is 8.4 and this thickness is given 9. So when I am calculating this, so I have to reduce this one for next one, that is why I have reduced 9. So this is coming 554.4 millimeter square. So now I can find out K1 value, which will be as per the codal provision 5A1. Say this is called K2 actually. K2 is 5A1 by 5A1 plus A2. So after putting all those value, I will get this is as 0.897, where A1 will put 960 and A2 will put 554.4. So 0.897. So area net will become A1 plus K2 into A2. So this is coming 1460.3 millimeter square, which is greater than the required area. So we can find out this will be 1166.7 millimeter square. So this is okay. So area net we can find out, which is 1460.3 millimeter square and which is greater than 1166.7 millimeter square. Now we will go for end connection. So the section whatever we have chosen is okay. So for end connection what we will do? For shearing, in shearing we have to find out R value, tau VF is 100 into pi by 4 d square. So this into 1 by 10 cube for making kilonewton. So this is 36.3 kilonewton. And for bearing, in bearing it will be 300 sigma PF into D into T. T is 9 millimeter. So this is coming 58.05 km. So the rebate value can be made as 36.3 km, which is the lowest one of these two. So rebate value we can find out. Now pitch and edge distance we have provided. Pitch we have provided say 50 mm and edge we have provided as say 40 mm. So in this way we can make. So number of rivets we have to find out now. Number of rivets will be say 175 kN load has to be provided. 36.3 is the rivet value. So 4.8. Say let us provide. Say this will be basically 5. So as 2 rivet in each row has to be provided. So let us provide 6 rivets. Right. So provide 6 rivets and with a pitch distance of 50 and edge distance of 40 mm. Right. So number of rivets are becoming. So what we are going to get, that if we now draw so this will be, now we can make so 6 rivets we are going to use. So we can make simply as chain riveting, right. Now so we are providing pitch and edge distance of say 40, 50, 50 and 40, right. Now this is 150 and this total is becoming 180 mm and this is, we can say 6 rivet 625 VDS we have provided, right. Now in this way we can make it. So what we have seen here in case of design of tension member, that a tension member can be designed as per the requirement of the load, and when we are going to design the tension member, first we will find out the net area required for that section. After going to find the net area, we will provide the gross area considering some additional percentage because of hole of the rivet, because of the connections. So that generally in the provisions I have told 40 to 60% can be increased, in case many cases 20%, in case of weld 10% also we can increase. So it depends, case to case it varies. So after increasing the gross area, what we will do, now we will calculate what should be the net area considering riveted joint or weld joint. So we will find out the net area which should be more than the required net area which have been calculated from the force. After this we will find out the radius of gyration of that section from the handbook, that SP6 1964, right. Then what we will do, then we have to see whether it is beyond the limiting value of the sling knot L by R, whether it is more than 350 or 200 as per the Codal provision, we have to check. If it is okay, fine. If it is not okay, then we have to increase the section. If the section is okay, then what we will do, next we will go for end connections. End connections what we will do, we will provide number of rivets which can be find out from the load by the rivet value, type of rivet we have to assume or it is given in the it is given. So from that we will find out again the number of rivets. After finding out number of rivets, we will place properly with the edge distance and pitch distance whatever is given in the Codal provision. As per that we will place the rivet properly. Or if it is welded joint, then welding has to make in such way that the CG of the weld joint should coincide with the CG of the section, so that the eccentricity due to the connection does not occur. So, after making all this, we can draw the detailing of the joint as well as the member, then it will be okay. So, with this I like to conclude here today's lecture, and in next lecture we will discuss about other member like gusset plate, lag angle, tension splice, what are those things, additional things, how it has been designed and why it is required, all these things we will discuss in next class. Thank you.